Hi from my platform, Linda's TV show. If it is your first time, you are welcome. Please, after watching this video, if you like what I'm doing, please subscribe, put on your notification bell to all notification. It is very, very important because it will enable you to know when I upload a new video. Here we upload videos on daily basis as it is happening. We are bringing it live and direct, undirected to you. After watching, you are free to criticize, you are free to say your opinion, but let us say it constructively. Myself, Linda, will be standing here watching this video together with you from the beginning to the end. Then we'll go to the comment section. I appreciate you all, my loving subscribers, followers, those who comment and share this video.
They don't catch like Muhammad. They don't catch like Muhammad. Then catch them for Siki one. You know that condition where we say they answer you question, you don't know waiting to answer again, if not to lie. Now the condition where this Oyibo man puts like Muhammad.
You're saying the same thing, that you're not cooperating, and you sit here in front of me, Minister, and say that that's simply not true.
They don't ask like Muhammad to explain everything we do for Nigeria. Judgment Day, Judgment Day. They tell him to explain everything we do for Nigeria as Minister of Information and Communication under Buhari. See as like Muhammad wants the shake. Help me share this video. Make another person see how Oyibo man take rubbish like Muhammad for interview. Nothing again what I want to tell you. I just say man show you. As they share the video, make sure say if not the first time where they see me for your screen, make sure say you follow this page.
It's like saying it's darkness outside when we can see it's daylight.
No, I think that analogy is not correct. I know that daily we receive, we entertain, and we engage all these bodies as a government.
And you're not going to move from that version, despite the evidence that I have quoted to you.
I'm yet to see any evidence that that is.
It's all there in black and white in the official reports.
That I've not responded to. When you talked about SARS, yes, I admitted that yes, we received the report and we took action.
Minister, when you're not stonewalling on requests for information, you're taking radio stations off the air and having reporters arrested or beaten. June last year, you tried shutting down Nigeria's oldest private TV channel, as well as radio stations owned by a member of the opposition PDP, Raymond Dokpesi. A federal court overturned your suspension, but the Nigerian Guild of Editors called this a barbaric crackdown on free speech. Why are you launching a barbaric crackdown on free speech?
I think there's a lot of ignorance and a lot of mischief.
The editors don't know what they're talking about.
No, Dokpesi's station was closed down because he owed the national regulator, not because of the news he was pushing out.
And in January last year, soldiers raided the offices of one of your leading papers, the Daily Trust, and arrested reporters. In March, a journalist who'd been held for 2 years was rearrested. You rank 120th out of 180 countries in the Press Freedom Index of Reporters Without Borders. It's not a glorious record, is it, Minister?
Well, I think when it comes to freedom of the press, we're doing extremely very well. If papers run foul of the law, they must face the consequences. But when you have virtually 100 newspapers in the country, and you are citing the example of one newspaper that was closed down in a year, I think it should be fair to us that we have a very robust free press.
Amnesty International says that between January and September last year, at least 19 journalists and media practitioners were attacked. Those attacks include verbal and physical assault and indiscriminate arrest and detention by your security forces. The impression, Minister, is therefore that your aim seems to be to stifle freedom of expression, especially critical voices. You don't like criticism, do you?
That's not correct. You see, because I think many of these people don't know the ecosystem of the media in Nigeria. Virtually every major, print media is owned by individuals, and I can tell you that there are at least about 12 national newspapers, and Daily Trust. I can't quite remember what the story was, but you cannot take the example of one newspaper among about 20 to say that a country is stifling the media. On the contrary, at a point in time, I felt that it was the government that was actually at the receiving end of the media.
What has also worried people enormously is your decision to submit a bill which in its original form would have seen anyone convicted of so-called hate speech actually sentenced to death by hanging under particular circumstances. You actually wanted and you sought authorization from Parliament to kill people because of something they said. Why would you do a thing like that? Extraordinary and shocking provision for this.
I think what is even more shocking is the ignorance of people. There's what is called separation of power in major democracies. This particular bill we're talking about is a bill submitted not by the executive, but by the legislative arm of government. So how can you accuse the executive?
You submitted this bill?
We did not, sir. There's a lot of ignorance. We did not. This is a private member's bill by a senator, which is the...
Yes, and you're telling me you didn't want it to go through. Is that right?
We do have a choice in which bills go through or not. The bill has been discussed. There's public hearing. You see, the government does not come in until when the bill has been passed.
And you didn't use any influence to get that done at all?
Absolutely none.
If this bill had gone through, Minister, journalists could have been jailed for any article deemed threatening, abusive or insulting, and could have been hanged if their work caused any loss of life. Well, you didn't object to this bill, did you?
You don't, you see, there's what is called doctrine of separation of power. The only thing you can do as the president is refuse your assent to such a law. The law has not been passed. The law was not originated by the executive.
The law is still going through the Senate.
So how does Mr. President stop it without being accused of, dictatorship and muzzling the...
You telling me you wouldn't have signed the law with that provision in it?
I think this...
You can't tell me that, can you?
You have been speculative.
You can't tell me that,
when we get to that bridge, we have to cross it, we look at what are the contents of that law. In what form will it be passed? But you see, people rush, too hastily to judgment. You can't even, you said we submitted that bill. We did not. We know nothing about it.
You didn't want it submitted?
We don't micromanage the parliament.
Really? What about the Protection from Internet Falsehood and Manipulations Bill, also carrying draconian provisions? Under its terms, journalists could be imprisoned for publishing content.
Who is the author of that bill?
Are you against this bill or not?
I'm not even aware of that bill.
You're not. The Protection from Internet Falsehood and Manipulations Bill. You're not even aware of it.
I'm not even aware of it. So it cannot be...
It's causing an outcry internationally, and you're the Minister of Information, and you know nothing about it.
There's no such bill before the House.
There is a bill.
I can say that very authoritatively. There is no such bill before the House.
Reporters Without Borders said these bills, talking about the Prohibition of Hate Speech Bill and the Protection from Internet Falsehood and Manipulations Bill, they said these bills contain extremely harsh penalties that violate international law and are likely to be used to gag the media, and you're saying you know nothing about this one.
No, just the same way they were wrong in saying that the executive submitted the hate speech bill.
Minister, let's talk about corruption, because in your country it seems to begin with the government, doesn't it? The International Centre for Investigative Reporting said last year that among 9 countries in sub-Saharan Africa, Nigeria has the worst managed sovereign wealth fund based on accountability, transparency and oversight. Why is your record so bad?
Absolutely false.
Really?
Absolutely false.
A report by the National Resource Institute's Africa office, based on data from 2017, said you had failed to regularly disclose publicly the financial interests of government officials in the extractive sector or the identities of beneficial owners of extractive companies, despite making public commitments to do so.
It's absolutely false. It's the first thing you do. The first obligation as a minister or a public official is for you to make a public declaration of all your assets. And any minister or public official who does not do so risk being prosecuted, and we know many who are not being prosecuted as a result of that. Two, is to the credit of this administration that only a few months ago we passed, we put in place a policy that compels every ministry, every department to make public any expenditure above £10,000 so that the public can challenge what is being spent for. It's also the credit of administration that no government has ever succeeded in securing the conviction of high-profile politicians like this administration, and especially those of them who belong to the ruling party. We continue to fight corruption because...
And you follow the rules, do you?
Absolutely.
So in 2018, why, towards the close of President Buhari's first term, why did the Auditor General himself raise serious concern about this so-called excess crude account that you have? This is an oil savings account which holds dollar reserves from crude oil that are sold above the assumed benchmark price. And in July that year, the Auditor General warned you to bring your handling of this account into line with the law. Why, if you tell me you follow the rules, did he feel the need to say that?
You see, precisely because he said it, that shows how transparent the administration is. The Auditor General is an appointee.
It shows how shocking he thinks your behavior actually is.
No, on the contrary.
Really?
It shows the level of transparency in the administration.
Thank you so much, my wonderful viewers, for watching this video together with me from the beginning to the end. Like I said before, if you like what you see here, if you like what I do in this platform, as you have finished watching this video, please hit that red button that says subscribe and put on your notification bell to all notification. In that way, you'll be able to know when I upload a new video. Share my videos, leave your comments in the comment section constructively. Until I meet your way again in my next video, I still remain your Linda's TV show. Bye-bye.